Have you ever walked away from a sex ed chat with your tween thinking, oh, that did not go how I hoped? Maybe you blurted something out, maybe you over explained, or maybe you just froze mid sentence and said, we'll talk about it later. Look, it happens to all of us. Sex ed chats can feel clunky, confusing, and even a little bit off at times, especially when you're trying to be honest and age appropriate, all while trying to stay true to your values. But here's what I want you to know. There's a really simple way to make these chats feel more natural. Not perfect, not polished, just real, clear, values based. It's what I call secret sauce. And no, it's not a script. It's not about memorizing the right words. It's just one easy formula. Wow, one easy formula you can use every time a tricky topic comes up. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through how to make your sex ed chats honest, aligned with your values, and adaptable for whatever curveball your child throws at you. I've used this approach in my own home, and it's helped thousands of families feel more confident too, because when you skip this part, your message can get muddled, or your child walks away confused, or worse, feeling shut down. Stick around because at the end of this episode, I'm going to give you a 1-minute challenge that'll help you try this out for yourself in a way that feels doable and not daunting. What if talking to your tween about sex didn't make you want to run for the hills? On Sex Ed for Tween Parents, we ditch the awkward and keep it real with chats that actually work. I'm Cath Hakanson, sex educator, mum, and your guide to handling all the tricky stuff without cringing or making it weird. I want to start off with a story. I was chatting to my business coach, Tonya. She helps me with running my membership and keeping me focused on what I do. And we were chatting about my work and how I help parents teach sex ed. And she turned around to me, and this was a big aha moment. And she said, Cath, you bring the facts and the parents bring the morals. And honestly, that line really stuck with me because it's exactly what I do. I don't tell you what you should believe around love, sex, and relationships, but I give you the facts and then you present it and wrap it up by sharing your values. So that's what we're going to be talking a little bit about today, about the fact that I bring the facts and you bring the beliefs. And here's the thing, look, at the end of the day, I don't really care what your values or beliefs are because they're personal for you. They're your values and beliefs. They're not mine. And look, you could believe that sex should only happen under a full moon, and I'm not going to argue it. You know, I might gently clarify that it can happen at other times too, but I'm not going to judge you because your values, they're yours and they belong in your family conversations. And I share the values that matter to me in my family conversations. So at the end of the day, your values are yours and they're right for you and your family. But what doesn't work is when we avoid information because we're afraid it'll go against our beliefs. Because facts don't cancel out values, they just give you something to shape your values around. So today, what we're going to look at is I want to show you how to blend them so that your sex ed chats feel honest and aligned for you. And that's secret sauce coming up that's going to help you to do that. So there's 3 ingredients that every sex ed conversation needs. Just 3 parts and that's it. Facts, which is, this is what sex is. This is what puberty is. Values, which are how you feel about stuff like should sex happen only in marriage or can it happen whenever you feel like it, whatever your values are around that. And limits. Limits are the boundaries. They're the rules, I guess, that give kids parameters as to what is and isn't okay. So we're going to walk through each one. So facts, what is it? So it's that basic neutral explanation. It's answering the question clearly without fluff or judgment. So for example, a blowjob, that's when someone puts their mouth on someone's penis or vulva. It's also called oral sex. And that's it. Simple, accurate and calm. It's just providing them with a fact. So that's what the fact part is. Values is what do you believe in? And this is where you come in. So remember what I said? I bring the facts, you bring the morals. This is you. So this is where you explain what your family believes. what your expectations are and what you hope they'll understand. So you might say something like, in our family, we believe sex should only happen when both people really want it and when there's a loving, respectful relationship with it. Or we believe that sex should only happen in marriage, and that includes blowjobs. So that's an example. So the facts tell them what something is, and the values help them understand what it means. Now, the third part of the secret sauce is limits, and that's when or if it's okay. So this is about timing, readiness, and safety. And it helps your child know what's okay for now and what's not. So you might say something like, that's not something for kids, it's something for grown-ups. And as your child matures, those limits can evolve. You're not setting rules in stone. It's a little bit like when kids first start riding their bike. You might only let them ride their bike in a park, and then you might let them ride up and down a street, but you're sitting there supervising. And eventually, you're letting them ride up and down the street by themselves. So we slowly loosen those boundaries. So we're not setting the rules in stone. And what you're doing is you're actually offering guidance until they're ready to take, the reins for themselves and to make their own decisions. And that's the heart of good sex ed. It's about giving them the tools to make informed and respectful decisions as they grow. Now, why does this trio work? It works because it's facts, values, and limits. And it makes your conversations super clear, makes them values-based, so it's meaningful and relevant for your family. And it's also age-appropriate. And it gives your child real information and a safe, grounded way to make sense of it. They know what something is, they know how your family feels about it, and what's expected of them. So it's sex ed with meaning. Going to give you a real life example. Let's say you're cutting up watermelon for your child and they suddenly ask, what's a blowjob? True story. This actually happened in my house. I share a lot of stories. So here's how that secret sauce comes in action. So fact, a blowjob, it's when someone puts their mouth on someone's penis or vulva. It's also called oral sex. The value, in our family, we believe that kind of intimacy, that type of touch is something that should only happen when you're in a loving, respectful relationship with someone. And the limit, that's blowjobs, they're not for kids, that's for adults. And that's it. No panic, no over-explaining, just facts, values, and limits served up with watermelon. And best of all, your child walks away with information and a sense of where it all fits. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to share a challenge to help you try this in your own words. So now you've got the secret sauce, which is facts, values, and limits. It's simple, but so powerful. And what it does is it actually helps you have sex ed chats that feel grounded in truth and in your family's beliefs. But maybe you're still wondering, what do I say to start these conversations? Or how do I do this without making it weird or awkward? And that's exactly why I created a free guide. It's a mouthful, 5 cringe-free strategies to naturally start sex ed conversations. And inside you'll find 5 easy ways to kick off a conversation with no prep needed, and everyday moments that you can use, yes, even in the car. And language that feels natural, age-appropriate, and unawkward. Because here's the thing. If you don't talk about it, your child will just hear about it from somewhere else. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets. But one small sentence, that opens the door. Now, if you ever get stuck on how to explain something, I've got Q&A guides in the sex ed shop, and what they are hundreds of real-life questions from kids with clear age-appropriate answers that are written for parents. And they're based on consent, safety, development, but not shame. Now, the free guide, if you head to cringe-free-strategies.com, you can download that, or there'll be a link below this. Now, try one of the strategies tonight, and please feel that shift in your conversations. Now, here's your 1-minute challenge. Next time a topic comes up, try using the secret sauce. So a fact, your values, and a limit or boundary. So a last simple example. You might be watching something on TV and there's kissing, or you might be reading a book and there's kissing. And you might say, yeah, some kids your age do kiss. In our family, we think it's better to wait until you feel ready. And we always talk about relationships first. That's it. No script, no lecture, just 3 simple steps. And that helps your child make sense of what they're hearing, builds your connection, and it gives them something far more helpful than we'll talk about it later. So, thanks so much for joining me today. These conversations, they might feel big, but the impact you're making, it's huge. Now, if this episode helped you feel more confident, I'd love it if you could leave a quick review. It just helps other parents find the podcast and feel supported and less alone. And don't forget, you can grab your free guide at cringe-free strategies.com or tick the link below. You've got this, and I'll see you in the next episode.